Apple, they're all about the walled garden, the collaboration between tech devices. You might also know it as the ecosystem. Dun dun dun. So, let's build the best one. First off, nobody is sponsoring this video. Nobody paid me to recommend these, blah, blah. I bought all the stuff that we're going to talk about today. The point of this video is to provide the maximum amount of capability for the least amount of money. It's not a budget video. You could cut capability and save more dollars, and it's not maximalist. There are better, stronger pieces inside of Apple's lineup. This is trying to thread the needle of best being defined as getting the absolute most for each dollar, or your monetary unit you spend, like whatever your money is. It's going to be a combination of new, old, refurbished, all sorts of stuff is going to get us there. Let's start with the phone, because in all fairness, modern day smartphones are essentially ecosystems in and of themselves. Now, I went back and forth between my tried and true iPhone 13 Pro Max recommendation. I mean, it is a phenomenal phone that it's so good. But this time around, I decided to jump up a generation because I found a really great deal on the iPhone 14 Pro. Not Pro Max, but Pro. You can get this on Amazon Renewed for around $650. And I say around, longtime viewers know that these prices fluctuate a bit, almost on a daily basis, as third parties give bigger discounts or they remove discounts. So aim for about $650 and we'll be at about the same planning factor. The iPhone 14 Pro gives you a ton of capabilities because essentially you get the exact same capability as the iPhone 15 Pro, but for almost $400 less. Holy crap. New cell phones are expensive. For that $650-ish, you'll get the A16 Bionic chip, which, well, I'm not going to fawn over tech specs too much. That's the same chip as this year's latest standard iPhone. You'll get the same screen, same pretty much everything as the 15 Pro. The only practical thing that you're missing going from the 14 Pro instead of the 15 Pro is the 15 comes with USB-C. The 14 is still on Lightning. Is that USB-C port worth $400? I mean, maybe to somebody out there, but I didn't think so when building out the whole ecosystem. I've already made whole videos about the iPhone 14 lineup previously, so I'm not going to extend the video today talking too much about this, but I do want to make it very clear, as part of the get the most for your dollar, you cannot beat going a generation behind. And that's especially true now when you get these same chips as the current gen iPhones, because personally, I think the most important thing about cell phone processors is how long they give you usable software updates, security updates, etc. And the 14 Pro is the first one that kind of gives you a free year because it gets the same chip as the next year's update. Now, Apple may start segmenting their iOS release strategies different in like 5 to 6 years when we start seeing this play out, but I think you'll get the same longevity on the 14 Pro as you will on the 15. Next up, while its prominence in consumer tech space has diminished, I do still think you need a computer if you're going to be a student, some kind of content creator. Generally, I don't know, some office workers need them too. I went back and forth on this pick because it hovered around two choices. And I think it's my video. Nobody's gonna come in here and beat me up if I recommend two at the same time, right? So for the first time in an ecosystem video, I'm just gonna pick both. I think the two best overall computers that you can get are either the M1 Pro MacBook Pro 14 or the M3 15-inch MacBook Air. Both cost roughly the same amount of money, which is pretty shocking for how much you get out of the M1 Pro. But the 15-inch M3 MacBook Air, it is the best MacBook Air ever made. Either of these computers can work fantastically well as a sitting in class at a desk taking notes computer. Either works really well as a, did they get my mobile order right in the coffee shop computer? Or as a, dang, is this person sitting next to me, is they really gonna take up all the armrest kind of computer? And as a bonus, it also works really well as your only computer. The MacBook Air has a much bigger, more usable screen. It's much lighter, it's easier to carry around, it makes no noise, and it comes in Starlight. That's my favorite Apple color, so that gets double points right there. The MacBook Pro has more power, more ports, better screen, better speakers, better base specs of memory and storage. I'm not kidding when I say the M1 Pro MacBook Pro 14 there is nothing else like it. You could get the M3 MacBook Air for around $1,249 brand new on Amazon, or you could get the M1 Pro MacBook Pro 14 for around $1,193 renewed. Holy crap, it's $100 less than the MacBook Air. Team, it's so good. it is kind of heavy, and as a rapidly aging millennial, I have started to care about how heavy things are when I travel, but that M1 MacBook Pro 14, ooh. And you know what? Surprise inclusion, we're gonna throw in the Vision Pro here too as an ecosystem option. I even took it out. You see all my backpacking stuff? I even took it out backpacking with me on a 2-day trip. You know what? Let's go check in with Hiking Gary on what he thinks.
No, I didn't, because that's stupid. Just enjoy, like, be outside. Don't. All right, I still got some miles in front of me. I'll see you back at the office.
I'm never gonna buy that Vision Pro. Though I can still see a use for an iPad in a world where maybe you want to travel and not work at the same time. Weirdo. Why would you travel if you're not working? You want a little more screen real estate. There's apparently a new Apple event coming up here in the next few days with iPads or something, so I won't go too crazy here, but for $359, you can actually get a lot of functionality out of the iPad Mini 6. So if you want more screen without having to carry around a big tablet or computer, this is the iPad I would get, but it's a very small section of the video because it's a very small suggestion for me. It's not even, it's like the hint of a suggestion. It's not an actual suggestion, it's like the hint of a suggestion. Next up though, Apple Watches. While you can spend more on a watch than I spent on my first car, the recommendation here is going to be the Apple Watch SE2. You can get one of these suckers for under $200 on Amazon. And seriously, going from a zero smartwatch world to an Apple Watch, that gives so much functionality for fitness notifications, health trackers, sleep trackers, though I still don't know how people charge their watch and track their sleep at the same time. You get a lot going from nothing to an Apple Watch. There are fancier features and specs on the higher end model, so if you already have one of those, well then no, don't get the SE2. But bare bones telling time, not being annoying during the day with notifications, and tracking runs and bike rides, you'll get all of that with the SE2 and absolutely not break the bank. I get that this is obvious. I make a lot of these videos. I generally understand how much this kind of stuff costs week per week, but even I am surprised by both the MacBook Pro and the Apple Watch prices today. This ecosystem is gonna work itself out to be much cheaper than I originally thought. And it wouldn't be an Apple ecosystem video without the AirPods. The AirPods Pro 2 are the single best headphones ever made and the single most frustrating headphones at the same time. Gary, is this the right video? We got the right script for the right video, right? It's a very weird dichotomy that such a thing can exist in a product. While yes, they can be frustrating and at times they can be so frustrating, they're just too good not to include in every ecosystem video. You can also get these for under $200 on Amazon. The noise cancellation is so good, it works out for long plane rides. The audio quality is better than most other headphones I've ever used, but I don't use too many, so take that with a grain of salt. They're lightweight, they've got great battery life. I find that they stay in my head really well, and overall, I recommend these all the time. The one thing that I always have with me, except for my phone, I always have my phone with me, I always have the AirPods Pro 2 with me. They're just, the only time I don't have my AirPods Pro is when I'm backpacking because charging stuff in the backcountry can suck, and the more power I need, the bigger battery I need, which means more weight, and the vicious cycle continues. Unless you are ultralight backpacking, the AirPods Pro 2, they go right in the ecosystem. What are the damages from today? $650 for an iPhone 14 Pro, $1,129 for MacBook Pro 14. I still can't get over that. That's like $900 off the original price. $180 for the Apple Watch and $180 for the AirPods. No, I'm not including the iPad in the overall cost of the video because it's that low of a recommendation. This all comes out to a grand total of roughly $21.39. And you know what? That's not bad. It's not bare bones cheap, but it is $200 cheaper than the M3 MacBook Pro 16's cheapest iteration. You get a fully functioning kit that lets you do anything, and it costs less than the price of a current gen MacBook Pro. That's awesome. And what that really demonstrates is the power of waiting a generation or two before buying tech. I cannot overstate that you don't need to buy the latest and greatest the second it comes out. Inflation hasn't gone away. It's making everything worse, and we need our money. Just wait a few months or a year and you can do crazy things like this. But what about you? What sort of ecosystem would you build for around $2,000? Let us all know in the comments below. And if you like this video, click here to see even more about that just so good M1 Pro MacBook Pro 14. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching.